Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Train Simulator The Ins and Outs. Last time we learned about track laying and junctions, and today we're going to be doing terrain and signals. So just to start off immediately, we're going to lay the terrain so this track isn't floating anymore. I think so, at least. Yep, there we go. I thought I'd done it, but I haven't. So you first off want to click this painting tool, and then you want to find this magnet snap. So you want to click on this, and then if you pop out this tab, there's 3 options. There's track, road, and bricks, and that's to clip to like buildings. We're going to want to go for tracks here, and we're going to want the boundary to be around 100. So it's going to go pretty far, but you can make it a lot more fine and refined. It will just do the terrain it's around, so if you wanted to paint the terrain for any reason, you can use this little paint brush, and as you can see, you can also change the sign, and you can change the colours, and it will do that. We do not want that. We're just going to bring it up. So we're going to get this, and I'm just going to click on the track and just drag it along, and it'll be pretty hard to see, but if we do this, you can see how it pops up. And it kind of smooths out as much as it can, and also depending on how big it is, as you can see. So if I made it bigger, it would be more smooth. So we're going to make it 200, and it should smooth out more. You only really want to do this if there's nothing really around, or else it'll be a bit messy. So now I'm going to turn this back to 20. And now that's all done, you can see we've got that. We'll focus on decoration in a moment, but first we're going to focus on signalling. Now signalling is obviously a major part of the railway, and it can be fairly complicated if you are new to Train Simulator. I found it extremely complicated when I started, but we can work our way around it. So the first thing is we're going to look for this little track infrastructure with the little junction semaphore. Now, what I use is, if you go to this pop-up here, which I showed you last time, we want to look for UK LED signals. Now, you can use really any signals. They tend to work exactly the same way, but I tend to use UK LED signals. I do use the Armstrong Powerhouse Signal Enhancement Pack, but even though they will look a bit better, they all have the same function in Train Simulator. So I'm going to look for the L4A variant, because I think it's a good signal variant, but we will also do the halogen variant later on. So we need to look for L4A, unless I don't have it here. I may not have it here. Or is it? Here we go. So we've got UK Pro. This is what you can use. I'm going to look for L4A. So if you have the West Coast Main Line South, you can use the L4A style signals, because the normal 4 aspect signal will be like either halogen like this, or if it was LED, which I can't find, it'll be 4 lights, but this one only uses 2 lights. It's what most modern LED signals are like. So for the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a normal signal up here. No junction indicators, no nothing, just a normal signal for this line of track. So we're going to if you want an automatic signal, this means it will if you want an automatic signal, you can get one of these. This means it would basically just follow on other signals and you can't really change it. But I tend to like going for manual signals, but for this we're going to go for automatic right offset. So you can see it has a little right offset on it. So we're going to place it up here. So you just click on the ground, and then you can see this track connector comes out, and you tap it, and now it's linked to that track. If you double click on it, you can name it. So we're going to go for Hotel Echo 001. So now if we press play, it should refresh. There we go, and it is a green signal. So the next thing we're going to do is a junction. As you can see, we have this split off of the track where it goes in one direction and the other. So we're going to want to have a feather signal. Now, we should find it around here. Here we go. L4AF1. And we want to use the 2-track variant. So as you can see, it sticks out that way to show the junction. So we want to place it down just before the junction, maybe a bit further depending on how you want to do it. Clear it down like a signal, but now you'll get this little 1. Now the 1 is the main line. The 1 is the one for the signal, not for the feather junction. So we're going to want to put it around here. Although it can be a bit fiddly sometimes, so you have to be a bit careful. There you go. And then the number 2, which will pop up, is the diverging line, which you want to put there. And then as you can see, it all links up and the signal is completed and placed down. And we're going to want to do the same. We're going to put Hotel Echo 002. Now, we have the junction. Now we can make a few choices. So we have just the normal signal sequence where you can go one way or the other, and then there's the signaling sequences such as approach control and limited aspect. We're going to have one or the other for this example. So for line 1, we're going to have approach control. This means that the signal behind that one will do a single flashing yellow and a double flashing yellow to indicate that the speed limit will be declining. And on the other one, line 2, we're going to have approach control. This means that the signal will be held at yellow or red as you approach, which works in a similar principle of the speed limit is reducing. Now you don't need to use this, but I like to use it as it adds a bit more realism and simulation. So now if we load, it should appear. The signal will be at red. They only tend to activate when there's an actual train on the line, but we'll sort that out in a minute. So we've got 2 signals now, and we're going to put down one more a little bit further up the line here. We're going to have it Hotel Echo 003. So once again, we're going to get another automatic signal. We're going to place it right here. 003. And now we've got 3 signals down. We can also work on AWS magnets. That's the thing that gives a ding if the signal is green and then a horn if it's yellow, double yellow or red. You can find them in a similar place. AWS ramp, here it is. So we're going to want to put it here. I'll put it to the side for now just so I can see it because it likes hiding under the track. Drag it up using the movement tool. Here it is. Yeah, so that's 1, and we'll just repeat the same process for these. We can also install TPWS, but we don't need to do that at the moment. Here we go. Then the final one. So now I have all the AWS magnets down, and to test the system we're going to get our train over here, our trusty train. Obviously there's no overhead catenary yet, so this wouldn't work in real life, but it doesn't really matter that much at the moment, just as long as we have a moving train. Need to make sure we go onto the right line. Line set. The worst thing to happen is derailment, so you need to always be certain that you have the junction set correctly to prevent that. I derailed one too many times on building routes. So we're going to want, this is all good, we're going to pull that junction there. And then we're going to have to join this line to go up. And then we'll come back down. I'll skip driving up because you don't really want to see it, it's just me driving. Nothing special. So I'll cut back to you in a minute. Right, so now we are in, and as you can see we have the signalling as approach control. So we're going to be going on to the main line, as you can see. This is the first signal, it seems to be operating well. So we're going to go out. We'll work on trains and setting the GSMR another time. As I said, this is more just the practicality of it. So we've got the AWS, which should sound the horn. cancel it with that. As you can see, that signal is now cleared to yellow. It was at red a moment ago, above. So that means then we'll be going on to line 1. So if you're driving and you want to be realistic, this is what a driver would potentially see on this kind of junction. It's all about realism, really, at the end of the day. As I said, this isn't needed. You could just have it green light and just act like a normal signal and only junction off. But I think it's useful to teach you all how to do it if that's what you want to do. And as you can see, it's now cleared to green to approach control. So now the AWS sunflower should clear. And then probably reduce my speed. Now we're gonna join the other line. As you can see, all functions well. I put some other signals here just so the junction set would function properly, because if there's not a signal after that one, then it might get confused and stay at red, because it's a very complicated system and it needs to be able to function fully. I will say you might find problems, and sometimes if they are playing up and the lights go out, sometimes you just need to reset the game and just reconfigure it. And on the other route there wouldn't be any flashing lights, it would just be double yellow yellow and then you'd join the line. But I won't put you through that because that's something you can experience yourself. So now let's work on some terrain. As you can see, it's very, very, very bland around here. We're going to be putting a station around here. So initially I'm going to put the platform down. I'm not going to work on the station's going to be next lesson, but we're just going to place it down just so we have a broad idea of what we're doing. We can change this when we want to. So we can build a platform. There we go. Got one down. Then we'll put another one down. And for building platforms, you want to move the arrow and point it this way to make sure it builds correctly. There we go. So that's all we need. We don't need to raise the platform or anything yet. We just need to keep it like this, just so we know what we're doing. So we're not going to touch this area, but the other thing is, if you're driving a train and you go to edit stuff, it'll keep on loading you back in, so it's best to reset in these scenarios. Here we are. So first thing first, we're going to paint the track. So we're going to want this gravel option, and we're going to want gravel track dark. So we're going to want to turn it down to around 15, I think. There we go. Now it's very it's a bit hard to do. It tends to have a mind of its own, but as long as it's around correct, you'll be alright. Here we go. Which adds to the realism, because although the track does have gravel, it's nice just to have some excess gravel around. Now you can decide what scenery you want. It can be near a seaside, it can be in the middle of a valley. You can kind of do whatever you want. But today this is going to be more like a forest or a small town. Here we go. So we're gonna leave it from the platform and up. So we're only gonna just cover this section today. So we're gonna want some fencing first, because safety is key. So you want to use the same tool that stretches out. The same tool we used to change the speed limit. So we're going to put it to here, where the gravel ends. We're going to press that button. I'm going to press this button, which is the offset, and then we're going to pop them out again, like we did before. Because these work separately. If it'll let me, there we go. Then we're going to want to look for scenery. And then we can find different fences. We want metal palisade fence. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Here we go. And then the final one was hiding up here. Now we're going to do it on the other side. We could be lazy and copy it across, but the track is slightly different, so we're not going to do that. It won't take too long though. So we're going to want it there. And it can like snap to junctions, so you have to be careful where it goes. Here we are, and we're going to put down the metal palisade fence. I'm going to do this multiple times. And it's down. So now, as you can see, it's already looking a bit more realistic. It's looking a bit nicer. So now we're going to work on the scenery. So from this bit, we're just going to have mostly just trees and hills. So now we're going to have to use this tool again, painting tools. We're going to want just a few inclines. We can smoothen it down after the fact. We just need it here for the moment. We might have to use a bit of the track snap tool again, because as much as it helps raise terrain up, it also melts terrain down if it's running onto the track. You can do these in bigger patches if you want to do it faster, but it does mean it'll be less realistic and rocky. Here we go. So now we're going to use the smooth tool, which is, need to remember this one. Yeah. Playing this game for like 2 years and I still forget which one's which. So now it'll smoothen it all down, as you can see. It's more realistic. Okay, so now it's not much bigger of an incline, but it's enough just to put some trees, because if you have trees flat, then sometimes you can see under the branches and see that there's nothing, which you don't want. Here we are. Hasn't actually gone onto the track, which is nice, because that's less work for me. So now we're going to want some trees. We're going to want to go to the little house object tools and then go for tree. Now I recommend for up close using 3D trees. Now you might have to be more lenient, because I do have a fairly good graphics card and this is a very demanding game. But 3D trees tend to be my favourite because they just look very nice. See, far is like the less realistic 2D models. So that's far, and then you want near. If I can find it, that is. They also just have default trees that you can use. Well, there's not as many. I'm trying to find the near trees though. Right, here we are. So we've got some near trees. So we're just gonna, I tend just to dot them about, and as you can see, it uses this tool at the bottom, which is snap to terrain. If you didn't want to do this, it won't. But you obviously want it for like this, so it can go up hills and snaps to the terrain. Gonna dot some trees around. Then we can use different types of trees. So, nearly done. That's the first set of trees done, and I'm going to get some beech trees. It's good to have some variety. so we can have a little look how it looks. There we go. Have we got any floating trees? Yes, we have. You tend to get this sometimes, so always have to be careful. Here we go. There's also a thing called flexi row, which is like big rows, and especially if you're using hills, it all mixes up. So now we're going to do some oak, the final one. Bit messy, but it's what you need, don't you? So I've got some trees. Looks very nice. So now we're going to have some shrubs, because nature is the best. It's not trees, shrubs. Now you want more of the clustery ones, because it hides all the trees and the grass. So put this down, and then you can also, if you use the control key, you can select multiple. Oh, I've deleted it. You can select multiple at once, which makes it easier. Oh. Keep on deleting it. Here we go. Let's have the shrubberies in. Oh, I've got floating fences as well. This train simulator being a bit silly. Does that sometimes. You have to do a lot of moving in this game. Here we go. Gonna move them inside, so we're gonna have some outside and inside track clutter. Here we are. And you want to have it where the origin point is, so it works better. I think I have some inside the platform. Do I? No, I don't. Be careful with all this. Here we are, and spawn. So now, as you can see, it's coming together pretty well, isn't it? And it's floating. Oh god. try and get this. It's also very cluttery. So here, you can see it's already doing pretty well. Now, I'm mostly going to leave you to it and see what you're going to do with this. But I will also show you how to go down. So there's decrease height, increase height, and height. So you can, as you can see, you can move it down. So on this side, we're going to have it going down. So I'm going to bring it to 100. No, that's too much. We're going to give it to 45. As you can see, I'm just going to level it down. Might put a river down here, I'm tempted. Because then we can put a bridge here later in a different episode. And then you can also use the level tool. Everywhere. And then as you get it bigger, you can expand. So it's going to have it... give it out. And then I'll do this off camera, but I need to move it up first, don't I? So now it has a little drop off.